Hey everybody, it's Robert and welcome to the Robert Budd Show. And in these podcasts, I interview those fascinating people in my life that I'm fascinated with, so that I know personally, and we've had conversations about their life, and they're really interesting to me. Everybody's life is interesting to me in some fashion, and whether it's how they got where they are. They started in a profession totally different than what they ended up in, or they went to school as, say, a biologist, and now they're something totally different, like a pro surfer, something like that. You know, how does one become who they are? What kind of influences? What books have they read? What mentors have they had? Experiences in their life. And today we talked to Chris Hodgson, and he is out of Auckland, um, New Zealand. Spaced it. Auckland, where? Auckland, New Zealand. He's a Kiwi, and he stayed with my wife and I, Lynnzi, for a couple of weeks during the summer of 2016, and I got to know him a little bit. And what interests me most about him is his athletic ability. And in this podcast, we talk a little bit about, you know, what he does athletically, but more so what influenced him, what's going on in actually New Zealand, some fun facts in New Zealand. And so in this podcast, it's actually half of what we talked about. I'm only putting out part of what we talked about, and the other part, I'm going to interview him again and dig in a little deeper on Chris. He's got a lot of stuff going on, like school and inside of his profession, and he's actually, from a very young age, he has been a professional Irish dancer, and I know him as a salsa dancer. And he's also a martial artist. He does break dancing and tricking, which is really, really freaking crazy. You can go on his Facebook page and just look up Chris Hodgson, Hodgson, and you can check him out. So, without further rambling on, here is Chris.
So, guilty musicals. Actually, that's one. I'm a big fan of musicals.
Musicals.
Yeah, I love musicals. Yeah, my parents took me to a lot of musicals when I was young. So Phantom of the Opera and Cats, Pirates of Penzance and Mikado and Les Miserables. Yeah, went to a lot of them. Yeah, I'm a big fan of musicals.
That is, I can just honestly say, I am not.
You know, not many people are.
I'm like, well, there was a movie that Lynnzi and I went to go see, and our friend, and she really wanted to go see it. And it was a remake of a bunch of fairy tales put together, and they made it into a musical. Do you remember what it was? It was something about probably the Enchanted Forest or something.
Yeah, I gotta say that wasn't a great. I don't think they did the best job of that. I got really bored halfway
Yeah,
through that movie. And it's a long movie. I
yeah,
don't know. It feels really long. I
yeah.
think I
There
actually
was.
fell. Yeah, I think I actually fell asleep watching it.
That's funny. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, right when it started, it started up, and Lindsay and I looked at each other. We're like, "Oh man, this is a musical? Shit!" But neither one of us were like, "Oh, yay, it's a musical." My friend was like, "Yeah, it's a musical," and I'm like, "Oh man, darn it."
Yeah, I think that's the one with Anna Kendrick and James Corden in it.
Yeah, I think
They're great singers, but I think the songs weren't that exciting.
no. If you could interview anybody alive or dead, who would it be? And what would you ask them?
Oh, alive or dead? Hmm. God, it's so tough. Hmm. It's really tough, especially saying alive or dead. It's like, oh man, that opens up so many things. I'd probably learn ancient Egyptian and talk to someone that was helping build the pyramids to figure
Yeah.
out how the hell they did that.
Yeah.
But that would be something I'd try and ask. Try and figure out some mystery of the past. It's kind of plaguing civilization that we don't know about, or go back to ancient England and figure out how the stone circles were erected and why, that kind of thing. That interests me.
Mm.
Something to do with the JFK assassination. That'd be really interesting as well. Try and figure that out.
Yeah.
So, well, those would be the dead ones at least. The alive ones. Someone like Elon Musk would be interesting to talk to. The head of Tesla.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Obviously a very intelligent, very clever guy. I think he would be a great person to talk to. Yeah, I think he would be pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so, like, what are you up to now? Like, what's your next, I know you're salsa dancing. Are you going to do any competitions? Like, what's next for you besides, of course, school?
Yeah, we've got a competition in November, I think. We've got a cha-cha routine to do there that we've got to try and knuckle down. So yeah, there's a competition there. Otherwise, at the moment, I've got the end of my university year coming up. In a couple of weeks, I've got the project presentations and things. So the stethoscope I'll be presenting.
Yeah, cool.
Hopefully, so I'm preparing a report for that and all sorts. It's been stressful, but that's okay. Otherwise, I'll continue working at my work. The workplace is called Flow, by the way, Flow Academy, FLOW. We've got a camp that's going to be at the start of January as well, so that's good fun. Like an outdoor camp.
What is that? We really didn't touch on what.
No, yeah. We kind of touched on it a little bit. Okay, Flow. It's called Flow Academy of Motion, and basically it's a modern movement gym. So we've got at the moment it's a small complex. We've got a maybe like a half-size gymnastic floor, but it's got like a Dolomite surface which they use a lot for like judo and grappling martial arts. So, but it's still springy because underneath is just the same as a gymnastic floor. So you don't get carpet burn from breakdancing, stuff like that. And then also there's there's a Ninja Warrior wall. So I don't know if you've seen Ninja Warrior.
Yeah,
it's the same. It's the exact same height as that one.
Really?
And up there, yeah, exact same height. It's the same dimensions. And then upstairs we've got a lot of parkour structures and things. So basically what we do at Flow is we have classes for things that you can't find classes for. And it's mainly like parkour, free running. A lot of kids are into that, because of movies and all sorts. There's tricking, which I teach, and breakdancing as well. We're starting to bring in some martial arts as well, just mixed martial arts, some grappling and things, self-defense stuff. And there's some circus stuff, traditional tumbling. It's all that kind of stuff. And then there's also like open session times where you can come in and just ask whatever you want. And if you need help, then we'll help you as much as we can. Yeah, so it's basically it caters for what you can't find in terms of classes and kind of modern movements. Yeah.
That's rad.
It's a great place to work. It's really fun, and kids are hilarious.
Holy mackerel! How do you get that gig? You just like go in there and you have to. How do you audition for that?
No. One of the managers I've been friends with for a long time. I breakdanced with and started tricking with, in a band with him. So we've been friends for a long time.
So he knows what's
up. He does. Yeah. So now I'm one of the kind of senior positions there. So it's a great place to work. All the staff are really cool. It's a really relaxed kind of atmosphere. There's never any stress for the workers, and you go in there to teach. And for a lot of us, we were starting to teach people anyways. So we'd go into a gymnastic place to an open session to do some tricking and breakdancing and stuff, and invariably there'd be one person come over and say, "Hey, can you help me do this?" You go, "Yeah, sure, I'll help you." And then you're teaching, you're going, "Do this and try this." So then you just have to apply it to children. And some people struggle with that for sure, because it's a different kind of different story when you're teaching children. But you learn pretty quick, and it's the same thing. you just have good structure there, and you make sure they're learning the right technique and things. But no, it's a really cool place to work.
I get the sense that New Zealand in general is pretty, like you said, how you described the workplace. It's
Pretty laid back.
Pretty laid back. People get along. Yeah, it's not there's no bugs are going to kill you, stuff like that. Yeah.
yeah. No, we don't have anything that can kill you. That's
a fun fact. I didn't know that until you came.
Yeah. No, you're not gonna. Nothing's gonna bite you and kill you over here. You might get stood on by a sheep or something. Or a cow. Got a lot of cows. No, there's nothing dangerous over there. That's why people invent crazy stuff like bungee jumping, because we don't have any crazy animals that can kill you. You gotta invent something to put ourselves in danger.
There's no natural predators there for you.
No, there's none. No, we don't have any mountain lions, no wolves.
Oh,
there's a bit of
overpopulated.
Well, that's the problem with no bears. Like, that's the problem, because also the deer and things like that we have over here aren't natural either. They were introduced, and basically what happened was that people brought those animals over to basically make like a giant hunting reserve for themselves. So their idea was they bring over these animals that they like to hunt, the deer and the whatever else, wild sheep and wild pig and things, and they could just populate, and then they could come in for giant hunting seasons.
Yeah.
But since that died away, now the populations have gotten huge. There's big populations of them now, and we don't have those natural predators to deal with the population. So they're trying to figure out ways to deal with that now. It's like, do you introduce predators, because that can be a bit of a trouble as well, because we've got a lot of things in New Zealand that have survived only because we've got no natural predators. Like the kiwi bird. Like the kiwi bird, like, it can't fly and is almost blind and moves quite slowly. It's not something that survives in a place with predators.
A wild cat would be like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they have enough problems with things that aren't that predatorial, killing kiwis. They're that. It's that bad. So as soon as you bring in like big cats, they'll be gone.
Yeah, a cat, a big cow stepping on the kiwi bird or something like
that. Yeah.
That's pretty funny. Well, cool. Well, how can people find you? If they once this blows up, where can people find you? Are you on all the social media outlets?
Mostly on Facebook. I could use Twitter a bit more. I probably should. But yeah, mostly on Facebook. Just if they look for Chris Hodgson, I'll be the picture of me doing a high kick.
You can't miss that high kick.
In my gi pants, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a big hook kick. That was a crazy day, actually. That's actually an interesting story. I think you'd like to hear. Basically, I went in. This guy said, I want to do a photo shoot with a martial artist, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll find some time. We'll do it. And I went in there. I took my my gi pants and everything just to make sure it looks all proper. We started, and I was like, what kind of kicks do you want? He's like, I'm not sure. I'm not a martial artist. I was like, okay, I'll throw these and see which one you like the look of.
Yeah.
I threw a couple, and he goes, I like that one. I said, okay, I'll throw more of those. And I kept throwing kicks, and my legs started to get sore because you're really trying to push it. And then I had this sudden realization that if the next kick that I throw isn't as good as the last one, then there's no point in me doing it at all, because he's taking a picture of this. He's taking a picture every time I do it. So why waste, my energy and his time? So every kick after that, I was pushing bigger and bigger, higher and higher, and it hurt. It hurt so much, and my legs were in pain. But the amount of flexibility that I gained from that day was correct, and the amount of power I gained from just that day. One session of just throwing martial arts kicks, hook kicks and turning kicks and front kicks and things, and like flying knees and things. The amount that I gained from a photo shoot, which is ridiculous, not a workout session, a photo shoot, was crazy. Now my kicks are all above my head. The they've gained all that because of that day. And I think it's so funny that I look back and say, hey, what helped my kicks a lot? Oh, it was a photo shoot.
Yeah. Well, you can introduce that into different classes. Like, how do you get
exactly
better? Well, let's just bring in a photographer. We're going to take pictures, but every single picture is going to be better than the last. Otherwise, it's the way everybody's time.
I would do that. Yeah. Because it worked for me really well. So I'll do that with myself still. I'll take a video of myself and then be like, oh, this better one better be better than that.
Yeah.
It forces you and it gives you some kind of feedback as well, and makes you think, okay, am I going to waste my time filming myself or getting this person to take a picture of me, or should I just give myself another 10 seconds break and then do a proper one after that? It makes you much more efficient, and you make sure you do everything right and you put all your power into this kick or whatever you're doing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was actually a really big learning curve for me, the photo shoot, which I thought was quite strange and funny. I was like, wow, I learned so much from this photo shoot.
Is there anything you'd like to tell people besides if you want to get your kicks better, have a photo shoot?
I mean, what I do with everything is I get obsessed with things, and I'm not sure if that was something that I learned or what I've always been like, but I get very obsessed with things that I start, and I don't like to come in last generally. So like when I started salsa, the first thing I did is looked at the guy teaching, and I thought, I want to be better than you.
Yeah.
Not the person in the third row. I looked at the teacher and I go, I want to be better than you.
Yeah.
I approached everything the same way, and it's arrogant in a way, but it works for me. And it's not that I have anything against anyone. Like, I love everyone, and I'll help anyone that I can get to a good level. But that's the way that it automatically just happens in my head. It's not something that I'm trying to do. I just want to get to that stage where I'm not so much the best, but I'm good. So in terms of advice, try and find something that you love, because then you're not going to have to make excuses for yourself to practice it. You're going to be doing it because you enjoy it. Like when you're a kid, growing up, you used to love, I bet, going around to your friend's house and playing outside. So when I do something that I enjoy, it's just like me playing. Yeah. It doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like a sport or anything. So when I'm doing, say, like the salsa or the martial arts or anything, it doesn't feel like work at all. I'm really enjoying it. That's game time for me. Mm-hmm. I'm enjoying it. It's like, for me, I get as much enjoyment out of that as I do sitting down playing a computer game, which I love. But I'm obviously benefiting differently. Yeah. So find something that you're passionate about, and that you don't have to make an excuse for yourself to go and practice. You want to do it because it's fun. Yeah. You can't wait to go out tomorrow because your practice just finished today. Yeah. I can't wait to go home and watch some videos about this sport and watch some tutorials and things. So get into that mindset where you're not doing it because you want to be good at something or things like that, because you'll get really good at it if you just enjoy yourself. And people lose the fun in things really quickly. And that's easy to do, for sure. I did that a few times with Irish dancing and managed to come back because I found things in it that I enjoyed. And then because of that, I started practicing more and more because I latched onto those things that I enjoyed and I had fun with it, and it became easy to practice again. Mm-hmm. And in terms of doing well, like practice as much as you can. Not over practicing, but you're not going to win and do well at something if you don't practice. It's the same. Right. It's the same for everything, Yeah. If you go to a weightlifting competition, you haven't done any weightlifting, you're probably not going to win. That's quite a linear way to look at it, but it's the same thing. If I play baseball and I'm a batter and I haven't been practicing my swings, it's going to be tough to hit the ball. Yeah. And then, they're not going to be just throwing the same ball each time, unfortunately. In terms of dancing, it can. It's bad to say it can be easier because the people you're against have got the same easy time of it, So if you're doing a routine, yes, it's easier to practice because you know exactly what you're going to do when you get out there. But your competitors have got the same deal. They know exactly what they're doing when they get out there as well.
Right.
So it evens out a bit. So in that way, no sport's really harder than the other because your competitors are doing the same sport as you. But if you've got a routine that you can practice, there's no reason why you can't do that at home. Find something you enjoy about it, whether it's the music or some little bit in it that you love, and just go through it again and again and again. Like I'll always practice things at home when I can. Not all the time. Don't be crazy. Like there was certainly people that practice more than me as well. I just try and practice effectively when I do practice.
Yeah.
So like I used to remember at Irish dancing, the girls used to talk all the time. They'd be talking, and I'll be in a corner just practicing something fun. And it wasn't that I was seriously practicing my dances or anything choreographed. I'd just be making up some little step or something, and it just got me going the whole time. And I was learning while I was doing that, without even realizing it. I while I was doing that, just in the corner doing some random step that I've just made up, it taught me rhythm and timing and technical ability with my feet that these other girls that were over there chatting weren't getting.
Yeah.
And it adds up over time, and it was. I found that fun. Yeah, it seems really sad and unsocial, but I that was a bit that I enjoyed, and I didn't like chatting too much during a class because I felt bad because I was in class and the parents were paying for it.
I heard the other day this guy had an interview, and he's a movement guy, and he goes, "Be the weirdo, be the guy over in the corner." Or the guy or girl or whatever over the corner doing your own thing, trying different stuff. He's like, be the weird one,
Yeah, it is very. If you see the great champions of all time, they're always weird people. They're always strange. They always have this quirk about them. There's always something.
Yeah.
It's very rare that you find some true champion that's just a completely normal person. It doesn't happen that much. The real champions are the really quirky, weird ones that sit in the corner. Yeah. That's exactly how it is. I think some people tend to it more than others, for sure. But
some people what?
Tend towards that more than others. For sure.
Yeah. A little quirkier than others. I think it's My idea is fun. Fun is much different than most people's idea of fun is, and I consider it the same thing. Different sports. I'm like, that doesn't look like fun to me. I don't want to do that, but I love to work out and look at, video of others working out and all that kind of stuff. So
but I mean, that just means you're in the right place.
Yeah.
That's exactly, if this is the thing that you find fun, this is exactly what you should be doing, because that's what you're going to be successful with, because you're going to put that time in. You're going to put the time in without even realizing you're working. You're going to go out at 6 o'clock in the morning and and work out because you want to, not for work.
Right.
You get out there and, I've been out there with you and you enjoy it. You're not doing it because you particularly have to. You could probably, wake up and go, I don't feel like it today. But you don't. You go and do it because you're like, hey, I enjoy this.
Yeah.
So that's when you know that you're doing the right thing, because that's when you're doing it without even realizing you're working at it, really. You start to doing it because it's fun, not because, you're working towards some specific goal or anything like that. If you're truly enjoying something, then goals become almost irrelevant, because you gain all this anyways. You're already working towards this goal without even realizing it. So you saying that you really enjoy that and not other things just means you're in the right place. For me, there's probably, tennis. I don't enjoy tennis, so I'm not going to go and play tennis.
No, me either. I'm not going to put time in to do that.
I just know that it's something that I'm not going to get obsessive over. I don't enjoy watching it. And, and if some people enjoy it, then fantastic. That's what they should be doing. But it's not my thing. My things, the dancing, the martial arts, that kind of stuff. And those are the things that I can enjoy and really get obsessive over. And those are the things that I'll go home and from a practice and then go on YouTube and start watching videos of it. Or I'll start watching videos of it before I go to class to get some ideas. I don't think I'd do that with tennis.
Yeah, that's so funny. I do the same thing. We're working out. I'm about to teach a class, so I go on other websites that I know that are, that have techniques and stuff like that. So
Exactly. Yeah. I do the same thing for when I'm teaching tricking. So I'll go and have a look at some cool like combos and things and be like, oh, I could teach, something like that, or a derivative version of that, or some basic of that, just to get some cool ideas. It's all out there to do that. It's just useful.
Serious.
YouTube's the best.
Well, Chris, thank you so much for your time. Really,
it's a pleasure.
Yeah. I mean, I right when I started to get to know you, I mean, you stayed with us, for a bit, and I'm like, you're interesting, and I knew there was all kinds of interesting stuff about you that other people would want to know, and I was right, especially with the
thank you.
Quirky music that you like.
Yeah, that's the main thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is what you want to ask me.
This whole thing was worth it just to find out that you like musicals. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. No, it was a pleasure. I loved staying with you guys. I think me and Clive, we were lucky that we got to stay with you, which is cool. I think we matched up really well.
Yeah.
And when you come over in April, not if, because if Lynnzi and Liz and Serena have anything to do with it, you'll be here. Make sure you come and stay with us. We're here, and I hopefully will have plenty of time to shuttle you guys around and go and show you some things. And we've got to make sure we plan it out so we've got plenty of time to do the outdoorsy things and go and see some kiwis and things like that.
Well, yeah, if it's April, we'll just have to come back out when it's in December. When you have time off. So
yeah, just do both.
Yeah, just do both. Why not?
Yeah, easy.
Well,
that far.
Yeah, thanks so much for your time. It
was a pleasure, man.
I'm glad you took the time out today to talk. So cool.
No worries, man. Thank you,
brother. Yeah, we'll talk to you soon.
Cool. I'll see you later, man.
All right.
Bye-bye. How do we exit? Okay.
All right, and there you have it. There's Chris Hodgson, and what's just mind-boggling to me as I listen to this is his work ethic. And once he sets his mind to something, how he goes after it. I mean, we talk a little bit about the passion and how it's easy for him to do that. And if you think about it, it is easy for someone to continue to do something if they're really digging it and they're into it. Like you said, why would somebody, if you don't like tennis, don't do tennis, something like that. But anyways, to find Chris more, go on to to contact Chris, go onto this Facebook page. Is pretty much where you can find him. And Chris Hodgson, Hodgson, Hodgson. And also, before you go, if you would like to get a short email from me about the next people that I interview, who's coming up, also different things that I'm trying, as in diets, exercise, what I'm up to in my life, and that health and well-being area, go to my webpage, which is robertbudd.net, and sign up for the newsletter. You'll see it's pretty easy to find. Just sign up, put in your email, and you'll get the next newsletter. Also, all the notes and the links or anything like that from this podcast is on robertbudd.net/podcasts. And if you like the show, please go on iTunes and rate it. Or even if you don't like the show, go on iTunes and rate it. More the merrier. And the last thing that I want to leave you with is a quote from Desmond Tutu. That's Tutu, Desmond Tutu. And the quote goes like this: do your little bit of good where you are. It's those little bits of good put together that overwhelm the world. And with that, I'm going to leave you. And until next time, I love ya.